Welcome back to Automobiles. Today we're talking about the all-new 2026 Toyota Hilux Pickup, a model that carries decades of reputation on its shoulders, yet still finds fresh ways to impress. Let's begin with that first unmistakable sight on the street. Park the 2025 and the 2026 Hilux side by side, and you'll notice how Toyota has sharpened every line. The new truck sits wider by a hair, and the nose carries a stronger horizontal bar that pushes out toward the LED matrix headlamps. The grille is darker, chunkier, and pinched at the middle so the chrome-finished surround looks like it's flexing. Below it, a single full-width air intake adds an almost racing vibe, flanked by fog lamp pods ringed in satin aluminum. All the surfaces appear taut, as if the sheet metal were pulled tighter over beefier bones. None of this feels ornamental. Each crease is aimed at aerodynamic drag, which Toyota says is now reduced by 4%, saving a few drops of diesel every 100 kilometers. Swing to the profile, and you get the sense of a bigger wheelbase, even though the tape reveals it's only 30 millimeters longer. The fenders form squared-off arches that visually plant the truck, and the 18-inch alloy wheels wear a turbine-style face with machined edges catching the light. The familiar Hilux stamp is punched into the tailgate, but Toyota has milled the letters deeper, giving the metal a bold, almost handcrafted look. Slimmer LED taillights reach farther into the bed, so when they light up at night, the truck shows a continuous red signature from side to side. Underbody, skid plates switch to high-strength aluminum, trimming 6 kilograms while boosting toughness. Open the door and the cabin feels instantly quieter. Not because of extra fancy materials, but because Toyota injected new acoustic foam into the windshield pillars and doubled the door seals. The dashboard design borrows from the flagship Land Cruiser. A 9-inch floating touchscreen sits higher within perfect hand reach, and physical dials remain for climate, blessed relief on a hot day. The seats get double-stitched leatherette bolsters and an embossed Hilux logo just below the headrest. Rear passengers score an extra 3 degrees of seatback recline and a pair of USB-C ports. And that's really all we'll say about the interior today. Comfort has bumped up, tech has leaped ahead, and it still cleans out easily after a muddy job site. Now let's talk numbers. Depending on market, the 2026 Hilux starts around $38,000 for the two-wheel drive workhorse and climbs to roughly $52,000 for the fully loaded 4x4 Invincible X. The middle Revo trim, which most buyers lean toward, hovers at $43,000. Toyota's kept the traditional ladder frame but swapped in a new multi-link rear suspension on all double cabs, so even the cheaper trims don't leave you bouncing on old-school leaf springs. Factor in a factory 5-year, 150,000-kilometer warranty, and service intervals stretch to 15,000 kilometers, and the math stays favorable against Ranger, D-Max, and Navara rivals. Performance remains the Hilux calling card. The 2.8-liter turbo diesel returns, now paired with a 48-volt mild hybrid assist that lives under the passenger seat. Output is up to 224 horsepower and 550 newton-meters of torque, shuffled through a recalibrated 6-speed automatic. Toyota added an electric boost function that fills in the low RPM hole while the turbo spools, so you feel a smoother surge off the line and during tight overtakes. 0 to 60 miles per hour drops to 9.2 seconds, quick for a 1-ton truck, and the hybrid's brake energy harvesting gains you roughly 8% better fuel economy over last year's model. Towing tops out at 3,500 kilograms, payload at 1,025 kilos, and there's a new trail assist mode that uses individual wheel braking to tighten turns on loose ground. Crucially, ground clearance remains at 286 millimeters, approach angle up a shade to 30 degrees, and the wading depth stays a class-leading 800 millimeters. So who is this truck for? If you demand reliability first, Hilux is still the benchmark. Yet the 2026 model also answers critics who wanted refinement, stronger tech, and a bit of electrified efficiency. It looks leaner, drives cleaner, and doesn't forget its hard-working heart. That wraps up our deep dive on the exterior design. A quick look inside. the price landscape, and how the new powertrain feels out in the real world. If you've driven an older Hilux or any rival, let us know your impressions in the comments. And as always, this is Automobiles reminding you, whether you roll out in a Hilux or any other ride, keep those engines humming, drive safe, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell so you never miss a gearhead review.